The Nile River flowed strong and wide. A desperate mother made a difficult choice. She placed her baby boy in a basket. It was no ordinary basket. This one was waterproofed with tar and pitch. She set it adrift among the reeds. Inside, nestled safely, was baby Moses. His life hung precariously between despair and hope. Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, had decreed a cruel law. All Hebrew baby boys were to be killed at birth. The Israelites, enslaved in Egypt, lived in fear. Jochebed, Moses' mother, couldn't bear to see her son perish. She trusted in God's mercy. She sent him down the Nile, a tiny ark on a river of destiny. The current carried the basket downstream. It happened upon a group of women bathing. Among them was Pharaoh's daughter. Curiosity and compassion filled her heart as she discovered the baby. She decided to adopt him. Moses, saved from certain death, was about to enter a life he could never have imagined. What seemed like a cruel twist of fate was actually God's hand at work. Little did anyone know this tiny life would one day change the course of history. Moses' story, from that moment on, became a testament to hope, courage, and the unwavering power of faith. The palace walls echoed with the sounds of luxury. Moses, raised by Pharaoh's daughter, knew nothing of his true origins. To him, Egypt was home. He grew up amidst grandeur, a prince of the realm. He received the finest education. He learned the art of war and statecraft. His life was a tapestry woven with privilege and opportunity. Yet even within the opulence, there existed a void. Moses remained oblivious to his true identity. He was like a ship sailing under the wrong flag, unaware of its true destination. The irony was almost unbearable. Here was a Hebrew child, destined to free his people from Egyptian bondage, being raised by the very Pharaoh who had ordered their oppression. But life, like the Nile, often takes unexpected turns. The truth, like a seed buried deep within the earth, awaited its time to sprout. The seeds of his destiny were sown in secrecy. His own mother, Jochebed, became his nurse. Though she couldn't reveal her true relation to him, she nurtured him with love and whispered prayers for his safety. Her silent hope resided in the belief that one day her son would discover his true calling. The years passed in a blur of royal routine. Moses matured into a young man, his conscience sharp, his observations keen. He ventured beyond the palace walls, witnessing the harsh realities of his kingdom. The plight of the Hebrew slaves toiling under the scorching Egyptian sun filled him with a growing unease. One day, a chance encounter changed everything. He saw an Egyptian overseer brutally beating a Hebrew slave. The injustice ignited a fire within him. In that instant, something stirred deep inside Moses. A primal connection to the suffering slave washed over him. He felt their pain as his own. Driven by an unknown force, he intervened. He struck down the Egyptian, concealing the body in the sand. This act of defiance was a turning point. The seed of his Hebrew heritage, buried deep within, had begun to sprout. The weight of his action pressed heavily upon him. Word reached Pharaoh of the incident, and Moses was forced to flee. He left behind the only life he'd ever known, venturing into the vast, unforgiving desert. He was now a fugitive, adrift in a sea of uncertainty, but within that uncertainty a profound truth was beginning to blossom. He was not who he thought he was. The blood of the Hebrews flowed through his veins, and with that realization, his destiny beckoned. Moses' flight led him to the land of Midian. He found refuge with a shepherd priest named Jethro. He married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah, and settled into a simpler life, tending flocks beneath the expansive desert sky. Years passed, and the Prince of Egypt became but a distant memory. Yet the memory of his people's suffering lingered. One ordinary day, while tending his flock, Moses stumbled upon an extraordinary sight. A bush burned with an ethereal fire, yet it was not consumed. From the flames a voice boomed, shaking him to his core. It was God revealing himself to Moses for the first time. God spoke of Moses' destiny. He was to return to Egypt, confront Pharaoh, and demand the release of his people. Fear and doubt gripped Moses. He felt inadequate for such a monumental task. Yet God reassured him, promising to guide his steps and empower him with divine authority. The encounter at the burning bush transformed Moses. He was no longer just a shepherd, he was a prophet chosen by God to lead his people to freedom. The defining act of defiance had been the killing of the Egyptian overseer. Now he was being called to defy the most powerful ruler on earth. His heart pounded with a newfound purpose. He would answer the call. In the presence of the burning bush, Moses underwent a profound transformation. The shepherd, once content with a quiet life, was now imbued with divine purpose. The encounter was not merely a vision, but a life-altering experience. It stripped away his doubts and fears, replacing them with unwavering faith and determination. God's voice resonated within him, a constant reminder of the task ahead. "Moses, my servant," God had declared, "I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries. I've come down to deliver them." The magnitude of the mission filled Moses with trepidation. "Who am I?" he questioned, "that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" But God's reassurance was unwavering. "I will be with you," he promised, "and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." Armed with God's promise and a staff transformed into a serpent by God's power, Moses set out for Egypt. He left behind the familiar comfort of Midian, his heart ablaze with a newfound purpose. The burning bush had ignited a fire within him, a fire that would consume the chains of oppression and illuminate the path to freedom. "Let my people go," a prophet's courage against a king. Moses, accompanied by his brother Aaron, stood before Pharaoh. The halls of the Egyptian palace, once familiar to Moses, now felt cold and imposing. He delivered God's message with unwavering conviction. "Let my people go," he declared, "so that they may hold a festival to me in the wilderness." Pharaoh scoffed at his words. How dare a former exile, a mere shepherd, make demands of him, the all-powerful ruler of Egypt? He refused to release the Israelites. His heart hardened against their plight and against the God of Moses. Thus began a battle of wills, a clash between divine power and human arrogance. God unleashed a series of plagues upon Egypt, each one a testament to his might and a consequence of Pharaoh's stubbornness. The Nile turned to blood, swarms of locusts devoured the land, and boils covered the Egyptian people. Yet Pharaoh remained defiant, his heart unmoved by the suffering around him. Through it all, Moses stood firm. He became the voice of God, relaying his commands and pronouncements. He faced Pharaoh's wrath with unwavering courage, drawing strength from his faith in the divine plan. His determination never wavered, for he knew that the God of Israel was mightier than any earthly king. Exodus, a journey of faith and deliverance. The 10th and final plague broke Pharaoh's resolve. It was a plague of death, striking down the firstborn sons of every Egyptian household. Only the Israelites, their doorways marked with the blood of a lamb as God had instructed, were spared. Pharaoh, overcome with grief and fear, finally relented. "Go," he cried to Moses, "and take your people with you." And so it was that the Israelites, freed from their generations-long bondage, embarked on a perilous journey to the Promised Land. The Exodus was a testament to the power of faith and the unwavering love of God for his people. It was a journey fraught with challenges and uncertainties. The Israelites faced hunger, thirst, and the constant threat of pursuit by Pharaoh's army. Yet through it all, God's presence guided and protected them. He provided manna from heaven to eat and water from a rock to quench their thirst. He parted the Red Sea, allowing them to cross on dry ground, and then closed the waters over the pursuing Egyptians. Moses, their leader and prophet, never lost sight of the Promised Land, even when the people grumbled and despaired. He drew strength from his encounters with God, relaying his words of comfort and encouragement to the weary travelers. Laws from the divine, the covenant at Sinai. Their journey led them to the foot of Mount Sinai. The air crackled with anticipation as Moses ascended the mountain to commune with God. There, amidst thunder and lightning, God revealed his laws to Moses, etched on 2 tablets of stone. The 10 Commandments, a covenant between God and his chosen people, set forth the principles of a just and righteous life. They spoke of worshipping one God, honoring one's parents, respecting human life, and valuing truth and integrity. Moses descended the mountain, his face aglow with divine light. He carried with him not just the tablets of stone, but the very foundation of a new society. The 10 Commandments became the cornerstone of the Israelites' faith, shaping their laws, customs, and moral compass for generations to come. At Sinai, the Israelites transitioned from a band of freed slaves to a nation bound by a covenant with God. They were no longer defined by their past suffering, but by their relationship with the divine and their commitment to living according to his laws. Moses, the shepherd-turned-prophet, had led them from slavery to freedom, from despair to hope, from chaos to covenant. A prophet's legacy, Moses' enduring impact. Moses never set foot in the Promised Land. He died on Mount Nebo, overlooking the land that his people would inherit. His life, a testament to courage, faith, and leadership, left an indelible mark on history. Though he did not live to see the fulfillment of all God's promises, his legacy lived on. He was revered as the greatest prophet in Israel, the liberator who defied a king, the lawgiver who received God's commandments, the shepherd who guided his flock to the brink of a new era. Moses' story continues to resonate across millennia. It speaks to the human spirit's potential for transformation, the power of faith to overcome adversity, and the importance of standing up for justice and righteousness. He reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, with courage and determination, we can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles and achieve extraordinary things. His life, a testament to the enduring power of hope, continues to inspire generations to strive for a better, more just and compassionate world.